So, first, I'm the youngest panelist. I'll try and talk about my expectations of older women and my expectations of women of my generation. First, I believe that there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And I say it because I wrote an article on the 21st of September 2014 titled, "Too many godfathers everywhere, where are the godmothers?" Too many godfathers everywhere, where are the godmothers? So today in Nigeria, if you take at least one governor, at least 50% of the 36 state governors, they are the boy of one ex-politician. If you look at a woman in a position, a man in a position of power who was MD of a bank, who is currently MD of a company or someone, he's a boy of an ex-MD of an ex-ED of that. Now, my question is, all the men have boys. Women, where are your girls? And the courage with which I can say this in this room is not because I'm a loudspeaker, or it's not because I've come to challenge the older women. I can tell you that in terms of quality of upbringing and education, my mother did an incredible job. But I can also tell you that going through the University of Life, my story would never be complete without the mentoring, sacrifice, and commitment of people like Toyosi Akerele Ogunsiji, great women who have taken time to groom me, to teach me how to use fork and knife, who own their own children but are not afraid of the success of other young people. I think that that's the hallmark of effective leadership. And let me tell you, for the women in the room who believe that they're going to be in power forever, let me stand and say this one. 4 years ago, I was on a panel with the Central Bank Governor Lamido Sanusi. There was a woman in the room I tried to see long before then. She would see me outside. I said, "Oh, Toyosi, oh, brilliant, oh, fantastic speech. Take my number." When you call her, she will never pick her calls. Yes. You know that you all of you have experienced it before. Yes. You send them messages, they will never reply at all. And then she was unceremoniously removed from office. And then she will call me and say to us, "Whenever you need advice, you can ask." After the fact, I said, once I was looking for rain, now I'm a rainmaker. Let me tell you, there is nothing in life that is permanent, because even the person in the position of a permanent secretary, I got temporary. You see, those Louis Vuitton bags, they make it in editions. The one you use this year will not be relevant in 3.5 years. That young girl that you despise because she's trying to run after you to get an interview, when you are 60, somebody else is already the one making the way. The Range Rover Sport you drive today will not be the new model in 5 years. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The only way you can sustain your relevance as an older woman is to mentor a younger woman. Let me say this. I'm 31 years old. And I'm not... I give great credit to my mentors. Most of my mentors even know my mother. My mother has given me to them. When they talk to me, I cry. Well, I didn't even come to speak to just the older women. How many younger women are willing to submit and learn from the older women? How many of you remember to buy your mentor a present or remember their birthdays? The fact that a person is... Don't forget, Mrs. Toyosi Akerele is like a mother to me. She's the richest black woman in the world. I don't go to her asking for money. Anytime I go to her, I try to take a little present. Yeah. You know why? At that level, at the level where people like Mrs. Adenowo and Mrs. Aziza, everybody around them is looking for what they can get. You can never make a difference if you follow that crowd. You will stand out when you take her a present. So she will know that you are not part of them. You have come to add value. That is on one side. On the other hand, for the older women, every time I call you, it's not because I want money. It's because I want an advice that can change my life. And let me tell you, some of us are going to get to the places where some people's children will never reach. Because their children will become who they will become because of their own surnames. We are going to make it on the premise of our own negotiation. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. And let me say this one. About a few years ago, maybe about 7 or 8 years, a young girl had come to meet. I met at an event. I went to speak like this. Maybe it's all outside, but I don't know if she's somewhere in the room. Maybe was a 15-year-old girl whose father was an hairdresser and whose father used to work in NEPA, and whose mother was an hairdresser. She walked up to me and said, I wanted you to be my mentor. I didn't have anything. I just paid for an office where we didn't have chairs. So baby and I would sit on the floor and dream dreams and see vision. Alright? So she went to the University of Ibadan. Today baby is 23. She's the first girl to ever run for president in the University of Ibadan. She lost that. I supported her on that election and she lost the election. When she lost the election, I gave her money to go organize a victory party. I said, you are going to go and do the Martin Luther King speech to your team. You will tell them you came so that Obama will be president one day. And tell you what, 6 months later, a girl ran for the speaker of the University of Ibadan for the very first time and won that election. Now that's 3 levels of mentoring at 31. Today, Bemi is the chairperson of the Euro-Africa Youth Parliament in Germany, and she's partnering with the United Nations to host one of the biggest youth events in Africa this year, at the age of 23. Wow. She has now graduated a few weeks ago with a 2-1. 3 levels of mentoring. The only way you can go to heaven without seeing death, you can go to heaven like Elijah without seeing death, is to know that other people's children who may not have the privilege that your children have a voice, they have dreams, they have vision, they have ideas. And tell you what, nothing lasts forever. I say this because I look at the way older women treat young women. And I don't know if you understand that your glory depends on that young woman that you just despised. Because tell you what, when you are 60, you are going to call me and say to us, you are a minister, employ that person. Because at 65, there are some things you don't qualify for anymore. Your power, the reason why you have men who are powerful in this country is because they are the one who put that governor there. They made this one empty. They made that one. Our women are not relevant beyond 55. And the only claim to fame they have is their designer bags and the Range Rovers they drive. And those Range Rovers we will buy. Where are the young girls in the room, huh? Before they say we've come to start and Luther in the I'm a very well brought up, traditional, conservative Yoruba girl. And let me go hard on the younger women a little bit. I meet young women every day who think that the women that have accomplished something got there overnight. You sit in a bus, you get off a flight, you're on a shuttle bus, an older woman is standing and you are sitting. Your reward is in hell. You are a young woman, you walk into a room. So because I sit on this panel now, tomorrow I should wake up and assume that me and Mrs. Adenowo and Charlie we are now at the same level. It's the beginning of my downfall. And it's the truth. Young women must respect the grace and the glory upon the older women. Every time I go out in public and my mates think, Toyosi Akerele, how can you kneel down in public? I said, I don't kneel to that person, I kneel to the grace upon that person. What the person has, I want to have it. What you do not have. In law, you call it nemo that what don't have it. You can't give what you don't have. And so today, if I want the younger women to honor me as well, I've got to honor the older women. I'm not trying to compete with them. I want to learn. And when they tell me to shut up, I shut up. Because what an older woman sees standing, sitting, even if I stand on a tree, I cannot see it. And the only thing that you cannot buy off the market is experience. So go and calm down, relax, and reduce your arrogance. The reason why you are where you are is not because your stepmother is against you. It's because you're arrogant and you cannot submit to the mentoring of the people. Please suggest to women to take something away today. I think it's important that we do away with this mentality that we must get something because we are women. A woman must be given on the premise of competence, character, and capacity. You don't have it, you can't get it, number one. Number two, I think it's important to speak to the mothers, the women that are raising the men that we marry. You drive from Ikeja to Lekki, all the Tundras, the Range Rovers, the Prados are now driven by men, are now driven by women. HODs of organizations, women are taking the lead everywhere. Why? We're raising boys and girls. In the morning, you send the girl, tell her to wake up, take care of her younger ones, have their bath, go to the market, negotiate. She learns everything. You give her 5,000 and give her a long list of what is not possible. Negotiation skills. You tell her to take care of her younger ones, leadership skills. You tell her to sit properly, etiquette. You tell her to speak to people properly, respect and responsibility. You say women don't do this, relationship management. All the skills that are required later in life in the workplace, women learn it. Our boys are watching football and watching cars. And then please, home economics is not the course for only women in the school. Study engineering, study architecture, study law, go into politics. Spoon feeding doesn't do anything for anybody at the end, apart from teaching you the shape of the spoon. So even when you have a mentor, use what it is that is being taught to you properly. And even as I close, let me just say this to you. Can women begin to invest in real assets? Can we begin to buy landed property? Instead of trying to fill among and buy fake clothes and fake bags. Please, let's begin to invest in real assets, because that's the only way we can be very competitive. And finally, the greatest career choice. Listen, the greatest career choice. Sheryl Sandberg. If you've ever read, if you read Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In, the greatest career choice any woman will ever make is who you marry. The greatest career choice that if you marry a man who does not understand that he's already leading you by removing your father's name and taking and giving you his own name, that Dora Akunyili will go out all day, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala will go out all day, Mrs. Adeno Wanti Adesiwa, Mrs. Aziz, they will all go out all day and be in command, in control. When they come back home, they need to lean to only one man and submit to only one man. If you don't understand that, if that man doesn't know that that's the greatest power, you can't help him. I thank you very much.